The grind doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care if you're tired, stressed, or broken. The grind doesn't ask how you feel in the morning or if you slept well last night. It doesn't wait for motivation to show up. It just sits there, waiting for you to decide who you're going to be. The person who shows up regardless of how you feel, or the one who quits every time it hurts. Life doesn't reward emotions, it rewards consistency. People love to talk about goals and dreams. They make vision boards, write affirmations, and talk about manifestation. But none of that means a thing when the alarm goes off at 4 a.m., when your body screams for comfort, and your mind tells you it's okay to rest a little longer. That's where the truth lies. The grind is the mirror that exposes who you really are. It's not about what you say you want, it's about what you're willing to suffer for. The grind doesn't care if you're motivated. It doesn't care about your excuses, your past, or your problems. It doesn't care about how unfair life has been or how tired you are from fighting battles no one else sees. The grind only understands one language: work. And if you don't speak it, you get left behind. While you're overthinking, someone else is out there putting in the reps. While you're complaining, someone else is embracing the pain. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. They want to feel inspired, but they don't want to feel pain. They want results without the suffering. But growth only comes through suffering. Discipline is born when comfort dies. Every time you choose the hard path when no one's watching, you're building a version of yourself that doesn't quit when things get hard. That's how you separate yourself from the average. The grind doesn't give you sympathy. It's not going to pat you on the back when you fail. It's going to look you in the face and ask, "What now?" You can either let the pain define you or refine you. Most people let life hit them once and they fold. But if you want to become something different, you have to learn to take the hit and keep moving. You have to become so mentally strong that even when your emotions scream, "Stop!" your mind whispers, "Keep going." You see, pain isn't your enemy. Comfort is. Pain tells you you're alive. Pain tells you you're growing. Pain is the process of becoming unrecognizable to the version of yourself that once settled for less. The problem is, people run from pain their whole lives and then wonder why they never change. They want strength without struggle, progress without sacrifice, victory without battle. But that's not how it works. The grind demands everything you have, and then it asks for more. Every day you wake up, you have a choice. You can be controlled by your feelings, or you can control them. You can let them dictate your effort, or you can dominate them. Winners don't care how they feel. They care about what needs to get done. They show up whether it's raining, whether it's freezing, whether they're sore or exhausted. They show up because they understand that greatness is not about what you do once. It's about what you do every single day. People ask me all the time, how do I stay motivated? I tell them motivation is garbage. It's fleeting. It's temporary. What you need is discipline. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire that keeps burning when everything else goes dark. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you moving when there's no applause, no recognition, and no guarantee of success. You have to learn to silence that voice in your head that says, "I don't feel like it." That voice is weak. That voice is the reason you stay average. Every time you give in to that voice, you're training yourself to quit. Every time you override it, you're training yourself to win. It's a war between your mind and your feelings, and your body will follow whichever one you feed. If you feed excuses, you'll live in regret. If you feed effort, you'll live in strength. The grind doesn't care about your emotions because emotions lie. They tell you you're tired when you're not. They tell you it's too hard when it's not. They tell you to stop when you've still got 60% left in the tank. That's why most people never reach their potential. They quit when the pain starts instead of pushing through it. But that's where transformation happens. The grind doesn't just build muscle, it builds character. It breaks your weakness and forges your willpower. You've got to learn to be your own coach. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to drag you out of bed and force you to face your fears. You have to do it yourself. You have to stop expecting life to get easier and start getting stronger. The grind is brutal, but it's fair. It gives back exactly what you put in. If you show up half-hearted, you'll get half the results. If you show up with everything you've got, you'll start to see a different version of yourself in the mirror. There's a moment in every journey when you feel like quitting, when your body aches, your mind screams, and you start to wonder why you're even doing it. That's the breaking point, and that's where most people stop. But the few who push past that moment discover something powerful. They weren't at their limit, they were at their beginning. Pain reveals how much potential you've been hiding behind comfort. It shows you who you can become if you're willing to endure. The grind is not punishment, it's preparation. It's shaping you for the life you said you wanted. Every rep, every step, every early morning, every failure, it's all part of the process. The grind is teaching you patience, resilience, humility. It's testing your faith in yourself. It's asking you, do you really want it? Or do you just want to talk about it? Because if you really want it, You'll stop negotiating with your feelings. You'll stop making excuses. You'll stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it through action. The grind doesn't wait. It doesn't slow down. It keeps moving forward, and if you don't keep up, it leaves you behind. That's life. It doesn't pause for your emotions or adjust to your comfort. It keeps going, and so must you. Every day you hesitate is a day someone else is working. Every time you complain, someone else is improving. The grind is ruthless, but it's also honest. It gives you exactly what you earn. The grind will expose your truth. You can post quotes, talk big, or wear the mindset shirts. But when it's 5 a.m. and no one's watching, the grind sees what's real. It knows if you're committed or just pretending. It knows if you're chasing greatness or comfort. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack toughness. They let feelings decide their future. They think the grind will adjust to their emotions, but it never does. The grind stays the same. You either rise to meet it or you fall behind. Every day you have two voices inside you. One is weak. It tells you to take it easy, that you've done enough, that you deserve rest. The other is strong. It tells you to keep pushing, to get up even when your body aches. The problem is, most people listen to the wrong voice. They let the weak voice run their life, and that voice will always choose comfort over growth. You have to learn to kill that voice. You have to drown it out with action. Every time you do what you don't want to do, that weak voice gets quieter and the strong one grows louder. You want to change your life. Stop negotiating with pain. Stop expecting things to be easy. Easy doesn't build warriors. Hard does. The grind is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter where you come from, who your parents are, or what you've been through. It only cares about what you do when it's hard. That's where character is built. Not when things are good, but when everything feels impossible. You find out who you are when you keep moving after everyone else stops. Pain is the price of progress. People run from it, but it's the only thing that can make you strong. You have to train your mind to see pain differently. Stop seeing it as something to avoid. Start seeing it as feedback. Pain is proof that you're doing something right. It means you're stretching past your limits. It means you're entering the space where growth happens. The grind doesn't care if you cry, if you hurt, or if you're scared. It just demands that you keep showing up. When you start embracing pain instead of running from it, everything changes. You start to crave discomfort. You start looking for challenges because you know that's where your edge is built. You stop fearing failure and start using it as fuel. The grind is not about perfection. It's about pursuit. It's about doing your best when your best feels impossible. It's about showing up on your worst day like it's your best. There will be days when you don't feel like moving, when every part of your body screams to quit. That's when you find out who you are. Those moments don't break you, they build you. The grind doesn't care about your excuses. It only respects effort. When you push through, when you refuse to give in, you're rewriting your story. You're proving that your feelings don't run your life. Your discipline does. Everybody wants to be successful until they realize what it costs. Success isn't built on good days. It's built on the days you want to quit but don't. It's built on early mornings, late nights, and endless repetitions when no one's cheering for you. That's where greatness is born, in the lonely, unseen hours. The grind isn't glamorous. It's dirty, it's painful, it's exhausting, but it's real. And that's why so few people make it. Most people quit right before the breakthrough. They give up when it hurts the most, not realizing that pain is the gatekeeper to everything they want. The grind will test your patience, your endurance, your belief. It will strip away your pride and force you to face yourself. But if you stay in the fight long enough, you'll become unrecognizable, not because the world changed, but because you did. You'll realize that nothing was stopping you except your own limitations. You can't fake hard work. You can fake confidence, you can fake motivation, but you can't fake discipline. The grind knows. It always knows. It knows how much you gave and how much you held back. It remembers the shortcuts you took and the corners you cut. You might fool people, but you'll never fool the grind. That's why real warriors don't talk much. Their actions speak for them. They don't need validation because they know who they are when no one's looking. Your feelings are temporary, your results are permanent. The grind doesn't care how you felt while doing the work, only that you did it. When you stop chasing comfort, your whole world changes. You stop being reactive and start being relentless. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it through sweat, repetition, and focus. Every day becomes an opportunity to sharpen your mind, to stretch your limits, to rise above the noise. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to fall in love with the days that break you, because those are the days that make you. Every rep of pain builds resilience. Every failure builds wisdom. Every hard moment builds mental armor. That's how you get tougher, not by avoiding pain, but by walking straight through it. The grind doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care if you were lazy yesterday or if you failed last year. It only cares about what you're willing to do now. Every day is a reset. Every day is a test. You don't need motivation to pass it. You need commitment. You need to remind yourself that no one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself through effort. You have to stop waiting for inspiration and start demanding accountability. It's easy to talk about goals. It's easy to post about grinding. But the real work happens in silence. It happens when you're alone with your thoughts, when no one is clapping, when it feels like no progress is being made. That's where greatness grows. The grind doesn't reward noise, it rewards consistency. If you show up every day, even when you don't feel like it, you'll become someone you never thought possible. You'll notice something incredible when you stop letting your feelings dictate your effort. Freedom. The same emotions that used to control you lose their power. You'll start seeing that pain as just a signal, not a stop sign. You'll start realizing that growth lives on the other side of discomfort. You'll start trusting your work more than your mood. That's when the real transformation begins. The grind doesn't need you to be perfect. It just needs you to be present. It needs you to show up, to give what you have, to push a little further than yesterday. It doesn't demand that you never fail, only that you never quit. Every rep, every run, every uncomfortable moment, it's building a version of you that can handle anything life throws your way. The grind is brutal, but it's fair. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't play favorites. It doesn't care if you're talented, gifted, or lucky. It rewards only one thing, effort. And the harder you work, the luckier you get. The more you endure, the stronger you become. That's why the grind doesn't care about your feelings, because feelings fade, but discipline lasts forever. At some point, you've got to stop running from yourself. You've got to stop lying about who you are. Stop hiding behind excuses and face the truth. You're not where you want to be because you haven't gone all in. You've been trying to balance comfort and growth, but those two things don't coexist. The grind doesn't care about balance. It demands sacrifice. It takes your comfort, your sleep, your ego, and in return, it gives you growth, strength, and pride that no one can take away. When you start walking this path, people won't understand you. They'll call you obsessed, crazy, too intense. They'll say you're doing too much because they can't handle seeing what commitment really looks like. You've got to learn to be okay with that. You've got to be willing to walk alone. The grind is a lonely road because few people are willing to pay the price. They'll choose comfort over greatness every time. But those who walk through the fire, they become untouchable. Pain has a strange way of teaching you everything you need to know. It strips away the lies, the weakness, the doubt. It shows you who you truly are beneath all the noise. When you suffer long enough, you stop fearing pain because you understand it's just part of the process. You learn to respect it, even to welcome it, because it becomes your teacher. Pain teaches you patience, endurance, discipline, and humility. It teaches you that life doesn't owe you anything. You owe it to yourself to become better. You want to know why most people never reach their full potential? Because they let emotions make their decisions. They train when they feel like it. They show up when it's convenient. But emotions are liars. They'll tell you to stop when you're tired, to quit when it hurts, to rest when you haven't earned it. You've got to rise above that. You've got to learn to operate beyond feeling. When you can perform without depending on motivation, you've reached another level. That's when you become dangerous. You have to reprogram your mind. You have to unlearn the weakness that society has fed you, that everything has to feel good, that struggle means something's wrong. No, struggle means something's right. Struggle means you're fighting for something that matters. Life's not supposed to be easy. You're not supposed to wake up every day full of energy and inspiration. You're supposed to wake up tired, uncertain, maybe even afraid, and still do the work. That's how you earn respect from yourself. Every single person wants the reward, but almost no one wants the pain. Everyone wants the glory, but no one wants the grind. But the grind is where the real treasure is. It's where the lessons are learned, where the character is built. You can't fake it. You can't shortcut it. You've got to bleed for it. You've got to earn it with every rep, every step, every failure you rise from. When you feel like quitting, that's when the real work starts. When your body's screaming, when your mind says, no more, that's the point where you start booting the next version of you. Most people hit that wall and stop. The great ones hit that wall and climb it. They know the wall is there for a reason, to separate the weak from the strong, the dreamers from the doors. Every time you push past it, you steal power from the weakness inside you. The grind doesn't reward talent. It rewards persistence. You can be gifted, you can be smart, but none of that matters if you don't have endurance. Life will break you if you're fragile. The only way to survive is to toughen your mind. You've got to learn to find peace in chaos. When everything's falling apart, when nothing's going your way, breathe, focus, execute. Don't react emotionally. Respond with discipline. Discipline is freedom. People think freedom means doing whatever you want, but that's a lie. True freedom comes from control. Control of your mind, your habits, your reactions. When you master discipline, you stop being a slave to your feelings. You stop needing motivation. You start doing what's necessary because it's who you are. That's the difference between average and unstoppable. The grind will humble you. It will break you down to nothing, strip away your pride, and expose every weakness you've been hiding. But if you stay long enough in the fire, something beautiful happens. You rebuild yourself stronger. You stop running from pain because you've learned to use it. You stop caring about validation because you've learned to trust your process. You stop chasing comfort because you've learned to thrive without it. The grind is not a destination. It's a lifestyle. It's not something you do for a few months until you feel better. It's something you become. It's a mindset that bleeds into every part of your life. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you cut corners in training, you'll cut corners in life. If you give up when it's hard, you'll quit when it matters most. That's why the grind doesn't care about your feelings. Because feelings fade, but habits stay. You have to decide who you want to be when it gets hard, not who you are when it's easy, who you are when everything hurts. That's where greatness lies. You've got to stop chasing motivation and start building identity. Be the person who does what's necessary no matter what. Be the person who never backs down. Be the person who finishes what they start, even if it takes every ounce of strength you have. You've got to realize that pain is part of your purpose. It's not there to destroy you. It's there to refine you. Every challenge you face is shaping you into someone who can handle the weight of the dream you're chasing. The grind is not against you. It's molding you. Every rep, every mile, every hardship is sculpting your mind into a weapon that no one can break. So stop waiting for the right conditions. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting to feel ready. You're never going to feel ready, and that's the point. The grind doesn't care about how you feel. It only responds to what you do. If you're tired, show up. If you're scared, show up. If you're broken, show up anyway. Because consistency beats emotion every time. The world doesn't remember how you felt. It remembers what you did. It remembers the people who showed up when it was hardest. It remembers the ones who refused to quit. Every time you push through, you're building a legacy. Not one of comfort, but of resilience. And one day, when people look at you, they won't see the pain, the doubt, or the weakness. They'll see strength. They'll see someone who faced everything life through and kept standing. At the end of the day, you have to make a choice. Stay soft or get strong. Life is going to test you no matter what. You can either suffer from weakness or suffer from growth. Either way, there's pain. The question is, are you going to let that pain control you? Or are you going to use it as fuel? Because pain doesn't care about your excuses. The grind doesn't stop because you're tired, and life doesn't pause because you're hurt. You either move forward or get left behind. You see, the grind doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care if you're sad, angry, depressed, or heartbroken. The world doesn't stop spinning because you're having a bad day. Your goals don't shrink because you're struggling. That's why discipline matters more than emotion. Discipline is what gets you out of bed when your body screams for rest. Discipline is what makes you lace up your shoes when your mind says, stay home. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doors, the talkers from the warriors. You've got to stop romanticizing comfort. Comfort is a drug. It keeps you numb, makes you forget what you're capable of. Every great person you've ever admired had one thing in common. They didn't let comfort dictate their life. They chose the harder path. They chose the long road. They chose the grind. That's where transformation happens. Not in the easy moments, but in the ones that break you down and force you to rebuild. The grind strips away the lies you tell yourself. It doesn't care how good you were yesterday. It doesn't care about your potential or your dreams. It only responds to action. You can talk about what you're going to do all day long, but if you don't move, nothing changes easy. Complaining is easy. Excuses are easy. But action, that's rare. That's what separates you from the crowd. People always say, I want to be the best. But when it's time to pay the price, they hesitate. They fold, they disappear. Everyone wants to be great until it's time to do what greatness requires. You don't get to skip the suffering. You don't get to bypass the grind. You earn every inch through pain, repetition, and consistency. And if you're not willing to suffer, you're not willing to succeed. It's that simple. You've got to develop a savage mindset. A mindset that says, I don't care how I feel. I care what I'm made of. Feelings come and go, strength stays. You've got to train your mind to stay calm when everything falls apart, to keep pushing when your body's begging you to stop, to look fear dead in the eye and say, you don't control me anymore. That's when you start to separate from the pack. That's when you stop being average. Most people live their lives on autopilot. They follow comfort, chase approval, and avoid pain. They never discover what's truly inside them. You're not one of those people. You wouldn't be here if you were. Deep down, you know you're built for more. You know you've got something inside you that the world hasn't seen yet, but it won't come out until you go through the fire. The grind is the forge. It burns away the weakness and shapes the weapon. You can't sharpen steel without friction. You can't grow without resistance. Every time you fail, you're being given a gift. The grind uses failure to test your resolve. Most people think failure means stop, but failure just means you're learning. You've got to keep swinging, keep climbing, keep pushing. Each setback is just another rep for your mind. Every rejection, every mistake, every loss, it's all building. Endurance builds greatness. Stop chasing motivation. Motivation dies fast. You don't need to feel good to perform well. You need discipline. You need structure. You need purpose. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going when motivation disappears. That's why you've got to train your mind like a soldier. Every morning you wake up, you go to war with comfort. Every night you go to sleep, you review the battlefield and plan your next attack. You keep moving no matter what. And when life knocks you down, because it will, you don't stay there. You crawl if you have to. You crawl until you can stand again. You don't give up because the grind doesn't give up on you. You don't stop because it hurts. You keep going until you earn the right to rest. You earn your peace through pain, through sacrifice, through the relentless pursuit of who you're meant to become. Some days you'll win, some days you'll lose, but every day you show up, you're getting stronger. Every time you push past your comfort zone, you're expanding your limits. Every time you silence the voice that says quit, you're building an unbreakable mind. That's how warriors are made, not by avoiding pain, but by mastering it. When you live this way, something shifts inside you. You stop fearing failure because you've learned to live with it. You stop seeking validation because you've built confidence through action. You stop comparing yourself to others because you're too busy becoming the best version of you. That's what the grind does. It isolates you, hardens you, humbles you, and eventually it frees you. The grind will never care about your feelings, and that's a good thing because your feelings change. They lie, they distract. But the grind, it's real, it's consistent, it's honest. It tells you the truth about who you are every single day. The grind doesn't lie, it just reflects. If you're lazy, it shows. If you're soft, it exposes you. But if you're relentless, it rewards you. It turns you into something that can't be broken. When you finally embrace that, when you stop expecting the grind to be easy, that's when you find peace. Because peace doesn't come from comfort. Peace comes from knowing you gave everything you had. It comes from the nights you didn't quit, from the mornings you showed up anyway, from the times you kept going when nobody believed in you. That's real peace. You've got to decide what kind of life you want to live. You can live one built on excuses or one built on effort. You can let emotions control your actions, or you can use discipline to control your destiny. But you can't have both. The grind doesn't care about your feelings, but it will respect your effort. So the next time you don't feel like doing the work, remember this. Your feelings don't pay the price your actions do. The grind doesn't stop because you're tired, sad, or unmotivated. It keeps going. And if you want to rise above mediocrity, so should you. Every rep you take, every mile you run, every sacrifice you make, it's not wasted. It's all stacking up. Every time you push through the pain, you're building the person you were meant to be. You're forging a mind so strong that no setback can break it. You're creating a version of yourself that looks back one day and says, I became everything I said I would because I refuse to let my feelings stop me. The grind doesn't care about your feelings. But one day when you've mastered your mind and conquered your weakness, you'll realize that's exactly why you became great.